Welcome to our channel, Legends of Black Excellence. Today, we're diving into a controversial and thought-provoking topic, the 20 most evil black actors in Hollywood history. Hollywood has been home to countless iconic black actors who've left their mark, but not all of them are remembered for their talent alone. Some have made headlines for their dark deeds, scandals, and shocking downfalls. So, who made the cut? Stick around as we count down the most notorious black actors who, for better or worse, made history in the most unexpected ways. Let's jump right in. Willie Best. What happens when talent isn't enough to keep you in Hollywood? Willie Best was once at the top, having it all, until scandal tore his career apart. As one of Hollywood's most recognized black actors during the Golden Age, Best appeared in over 120 films, showcasing impeccable comedic timing that made him a beloved figure in the industry. Despite his talent, Hollywood in the 1930s and 1940s was a harsh environment, especially for black actors. Success was often fleeting, and any misstep could be career-ending. Best, a rising star, found himself battling drug addiction, a personal struggle that ultimately led to his downfall. In an era where maintaining a flawless public image was essential, his repeated arrests for marijuana and heroin possession became a scandal that swiftly blacklisted him. But his troubles didn't stop there. The film industry of that time was deeply racist, and every mistake made by a black actor was magnified. While some white actors were given second chances, Best was sidelined, with studios refusing to hire him and his once promising career fading into obscurity. Despite facing these overwhelming challenges, Best was once hailed by legendary comedian Bob Hope as one of Hollywood's finest talents. Unfortunately, his personal demons overshadowed his legacy, and the world soon forgot about the brilliant performer he once was. Willie Best's story is a tragic reminder of how talent alone isn't always enough to survive in an industry where the pressures of public image and racial prejudices can ruin careers. Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. was Hollywood royalty, a musical icon, and a man of many secrets. Throughout his life, Davis enjoyed fame, fortune, and controversy in equal measure. As one of the greatest entertainers of all time, he was a key member of the legendary Rat Pack alongside Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. His talents as a singer, dancer, and actor captivated audiences worldwide. But behind the glitz and glamour, Davis was surrounded by powerful enemies and even more dangerous friends. Rumors about his ties to organized crime followed him for decades. It was believed that he had deep connections with the mafia, particularly with figures linked to Las Vegas casinos. Some even speculated that Davis owed favors to mob bosses who helped secure his place in the entertainment world. His personal life was equally filled with scandal. Controversial relationships, including his marriage to Swedish actress May Britt, sparked outrage in the 1960s due to racial tensions. Some believed Davis was pressured by the mafia to end certain relationships due to the controversies they stirred. Despite these whispers, Sammy Davis Jr. remained one of the most iconic black performers in history, paving the way for many artists. However, his life was always shrouded in mystery, leaving people to guess about the real man behind the spotlight. Did you know that Sammy Davis Jr. converted to Judaism after surviving a near-fatal car accident? He later joked, "I'm the only one-eyed Jewish entertainer in Hollywood." His ability to turn pain into humor turned him into a living legend. Dorothy Dandridge. Dorothy Dandridge was the first black woman ever nominated for an Oscar, a groundbreaking star who seemed destined for greatness. Her performance in Carmen Jones in 1954 made her a legend, breaking barriers for black actresses in an industry that rarely gave them a chance. But behind the glittering fame, her life unraveled in ways no one could have predicted. Dandridge was Hollywood's golden girl, at least for a moment. Her beauty, talent, and charm made her an unforgettable icon, but fame alone couldn't protect her from Hollywood's darker side. Despite her success, Dandridge struggled with severe financial difficulties, much of it caused by poor management. Her financial advisor lost nearly all of her money, leaving her deeply in debt. Once gracing the most prestigious red carpets, she was forced to perform in nightclubs just to make ends meet. Her personal life was just as tragic. After a failed marriage to Harold Nicholas, Dandridge fell for Otto Preminger, the director of Carmen Jones. But their relationship was toxic, with Preminger allegedly refusing to marry her due to racial pressures. Heartbroken and battling emotional turmoil, she turned to alcohol and antidepressants. On September 8, 1965, Dorothy Dandridge was found dead in her apartment at just 42 years old. Some believe it was an accidental overdose, while others suspect suicide. Regardless, Hollywood had chewed her up and spit her out. At one point, Dandridge was even considered for the lead role in Cleopatra, 1963, a part that ultimately went to Elizabeth Taylor. Imagine how different history might have been if Dandridge had played the iconic role. Her tragic end and the struggles she faced serve as a stark reminder of how, in Hollywood, success and fame do not always equate to happiness or security. Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson has made us laugh for years, but off-screen, his name is linked to controversy. From sexual assault allegations to ongoing legal battles, his career has been clouded by scandal. Best known for his roles in Blackish, Barbershop, and Kangaroo Jack, Anderson built a successful career as a charismatic and engaging comedian. However, behind the scenes, his legal troubles continued to mount. The first major scandal struck in 2004 when Anderson was accused of sexually assaulting an extra on the set of Hustle and Flow. The case was eventually dropped due to a lack of evidence, but this wouldn't be the last time he faced such allegations. In 2017 and 2018, two more women came forward, accusing Anderson of sexual misconduct. Although he denied all charges and was never formally charged, the damage to his reputation was irreversible. Companies distanced themselves from him, and even the Emmys dropped him from nominations amid public backlash. Despite these controversies, Anderson continued to work in Hollywood. He took on major hosting roles and even returned to play Detective Kevin Bernard in Law and Order. But for many, his name remains tied to scandal, no matter how successful his career may be. On a personal note, Anderson underwent a remarkable transformation, losing over 50 pounds after being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. He credits his lifestyle change to his role in Blackish, where he realized the importance of being a healthier role model. While Anderson's journey has been marked by both achievements and controversies, his resilience in the face of challenges speaks volumes about his determination and ability to adapt. Jason Mitchell. Jason Mitchell's rise and fall is one of the most shocking stories in Hollywood, a cautionary tale that underscores how quickly a career can spiral out of control. Mitchell burst onto the scene in 2015 with his breakout role as Eazy-E in Straight Outta Compton. His performance was widely praised by critics, and it seemed like he was destined for stardom. However, just a few years later, everything came crashing down. In 2019, Mitchell was suddenly dropped from multiple projects due to allegations of misconduct on set. He was fired from the Showtime series The Chi and removed from the cast of Desperados. Even his management team and agency severed ties with him completely. But the scandals didn't stop there. In 2020, Mitchell was arrested in Mississippi for possession of drugs and illegal firearms. Authorities reported finding 2 pounds of marijuana, MDMA, and multiple loaded firearms in his vehicle. What was once a promising career now hung in the balance. Despite Mitchell's claims of working on redemption, the damage to his reputation appeared irreversible. He had even been on the brink of landing a role in Marvel's Black Panther, a film that could have changed his life forever. Imagine how different things might have been if he had avoided the trouble that ultimately derailed his career. Mitchell's story is a reminder of how quickly everything can be lost due to personal choices, and how one bad decision can overshadow years of hard work. Kodak Black. Kodak Black's criminal record is almost as long as his music career. Born Bill K. Capri, the rapper has been no stranger to controversy. His music has dominated the charts, but his criminal history has grown just as quickly. From drug charges to sexual assault allegations, trouble has followed him everywhere. In 2016, Kodak Black was arrested for armed robbery and false imprisonment. That same year, he faced accusations of sexually assaulting a teenage girl, leading to a lengthy legal battle. But his legal issues didn't end there. In 2019, Kodak was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison for falsifying documents to purchase firearms. While in prison, he was pardoned by President Donald Trump in one of the most bizarre moments in recent rap history. Despite numerous arrests and violations of his parole, Kodak returned to the music industry. However, many believe that his legal troubles will eventually be his downfall. In an effort to start fresh, Kodak Black legally changed his name from Dusan Octave to Bill K. Capri, hoping to turn the page on his past. But the legal system had other plans, and his struggles with the law continue to overshadow his musical achievements. While Kodak Black's career may still have room to grow, his history with the law is a constant reminder that talent and fame alone are often not enough to overcome the consequences of one's actions. Ja Rule. From rap icon to fraud mastermind, Ja Rule's story is one of talent, crime, and one of the most infamous festival disasters in history. Ja Rule dominated hip-hop in the early 2000s with hits like Always on Time and Livin' It Up. His career soared, and he became one of the biggest rappers in the world. But behind the scenes, his financial dealings raised serious questions. His first legal trouble came in 2007 when he was arrested for illegal gun possession. He pled guilty and served nearly 2 years in prison. But that was just the beginning of his downfall. Then came the Fyre Festival disaster in 2017, one of the biggest scams in entertainment history. Ja Rule co-founded the festival, promising a luxurious music event in the Bahamas. Attendees paid thousands of dollars, expecting VIP treatment, but instead, they received FEMA tents, cheese sandwiches, and utter chaos. The festival collapsed, and his partner, Billy McFarland, was sentenced to 6 years in prison for fraud. Ja Rule managed to avoid jail time but was sued for over $100 million. Despite continuing to make music, Ja Rule's legacy will always be tied to one of the most embarrassing scams in modern entertainment. He even attempted to rebrand Fyre Festival as another event but quickly abandoned the idea. Some people never learn, and for Ja Rule, his career is forever linked to the massive failure that overshadowed his musical achievements. His story serves as a cautionary tale of how quickly fame can be undone by a single, devastating misstep. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, was a global icon who forever changed the music industry. With over 400 million albums sold, he redefined pop music and became one of the most successful artists in history. He was untouchable until the first allegations of child abuse surfaced in 1993. Jordan Chandler accused Jackson of molestation, and a secret $23 million settlement ended the case, leaving a permanent stain on his legacy. But the controversy didn't stop there. In 2003, Jackson was arrested again, following further allegations in the infamous Neverland Ranch scandal. His 2005 trial became one of the most watched court cases in history. Although he was acquitted on all charges, the damage had already been done. Some believed in his innocence, while others remained convinced of his guilt, no matter the verdict. The controversy surrounding Jackson never truly went away. His career was never fully restored, and in 2009, he tragically passed away from a propofol overdose. Years later, the documentary Leaving Neverland reignited abuse allegations, further dividing public opinion. Was he a misunderstood genius, or a monster in disguise? That debate continues to this day. Despite the scandals, Michael Jackson's album Thriller remains the best-selling album of all time, proving that his influence on music is eternal. His talent was undeniable, and his contributions to the world of entertainment will always be remembered, even as his legacy remains clouded by the controversies of his personal life. Wesley Snipes. Blade may hunt vampires, but in real life, Wesley Snipes was running from something far more terrifying, the IRS. His battle with tax evasion became one of the most shocking legal cases in Hollywood. Snipes, an action star of the 1990s and early 2000s, became famous for roles in Blade, White Men Can't Jump, and Demolition Man. His talent and charisma made him one of the most bankable black actors in Hollywood. But behind the scenes, he was neglecting his tax duties. From 1994 to 2004, Snipes failed to file taxes despite earning over $40 million. Instead of paying, he joined a tax protest movement, claiming that U.S. citizens were not required to pay federal taxes according to the law. The IRS strongly disagreed. In 2008, Snipes was convicted of willfully failing to file tax returns and was sentenced to 3 years in federal prison. His defense team argued that he had been misled by his financial advisors, but the court didn't buy it. Snipes ultimately served 2.5 years before being released in 2013. Although he returned to Hollywood, his career never fully recovered. He had a small comeback in Coming to America and Dolomite Is My Name, but he never regained his A-list status. Did you know that Wesley Snipes was once considered for the role of Black Panther in the 1990s? Imagine how different the MCU might have been. Bill Cosby. Once known as America's Dad, Bill Cosby is now one of the most infamous figures in entertainment history. His legacy is forever tied to one of the biggest scandals in Hollywood. Bill Cosby was a television icon. His role as Cliff Huxtable in The Cosby Show made him a household name and portrayed him as the model of a gentle, loving father. But behind the scenes, his life was far from spotless. In the early 2000s, numerous women began accusing Cosby of sexual assault, with some claims dating back to the 1970s. As the accusations piled up, by 2014, more than 60 women had come forward, accusing him of drugging and assaulting them. The most serious case involved Andrea Constand, who claimed that Cosby drugged and assaulted her in 2004. In 2018, he was convicted of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault and sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. However, in 2021, his conviction was overturned on a legal technicality, sparking outrage. Many believed he escaped justice, while others argued that the legal system had failed. Regardless of the verdict, his reputation was shattered. Even after his release, Cosby remains a pariah in Hollywood. Once hailed as a role model, he is now widely despised, and his story stands as one of the most shocking falls from grace in Hollywood history. Did you know that Bill Cosby was offered a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame twice, but he turned it down both times, claiming he didn't need it? Now, Hollywood doesn't want him at all. Chris Brown. From teen idol to one of the most controversial figures in music, Chris Brown's name is now synonymous with violence and scandal. Brown exploded onto the music scene in 2005, quickly becoming one of the biggest R&B stars with hit songs, electrifying dance moves, and a smooth voice. He was often compared to Michael Jackson. But in 2009, his world came crashing down. His brutal assault on then-girlfriend Rihanna before the Grammy Awards became one of the most shocking scandals in music history. The images of Rihanna's battered and swollen face stunned the world, leading to Brown's arrest and conviction for felony assault. He was sentenced to 5 years probation and community service, but the public backlash was severe. Despite the outrage, Brown managed to revive his career. However, trouble continued to follow him. He faced numerous assault allegations after the incident, including an altercation with singer Frank Ocean in 2013 and being arrested for assaulting a man outside a hotel in Washington, D.C. in 2016. He also had a standoff with police after a woman accused him of threatening her with a gun. Though he remained successful in music, Brown's reputation has been forever tarnished. Each comeback has been met with new controversies, and many believe he will never fully escape his violent past. Did you know that Chris Brown was banned from entering the UK, Australia, and Canada due to his criminal record? His past continues to haunt him to this day. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson, the NFL superstar, actor, and the center of one of the most infamous murder trials in history, will never be forgotten. Before his legal troubles, Simpson was a sports icon, a record-breaking running back, Heisman Trophy winner in 1968, and a successful career in the NFL. He then transitioned into acting, starring in films like The Naked Gun. But in 1994, everything changed. Simpson's ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman were found brutally murdered outside her home in Los Angeles. O.J. quickly became the prime suspect. What followed was the trial of the century, a media frenzy that captivated the world. The case had a mountain of evidence against Simpson, including blood samples and a now infamous car chase, but in a stunning verdict, he was acquitted in 1995. The decision remains one of the most debated in legal history. However, a subsequent civil trial found him liable for the wrongful deaths and ordered him to pay $33.5 million to the victims' families. But O.J.'s legal troubles didn't end there. In 2007, he led a group of armed men to a Las Vegas hotel to steal memorabilia he claimed was his. This time, there was no escape. He was sentenced to 33 years in prison and served nearly 9 years before being released in 2017. O.J. Simpson also authored a book titled If I Did It, a hypothetical confession of the murders. After public outrage, The book was pulled, only for the Goldman family to republish it under the title If I Did It, Confessions of the Killer. Simpson's story is one of talent, fame, and scandal, with his legacy forever tied to one of the most controversial legal cases in history. Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard played the ruthless music mogul Lucius Lyon in Empire, but his personal life has been far more chaotic, filled with legal disputes and concerning allegations. Howard became a household name through roles in Hustle and Flow, Iron Man, and Empire, where he portrayed the hard-edged, ambitious mogul. However, his real life has been more dramatic than any Hollywood script. Howard has been repeatedly accused of domestic violence. In 2001, his first wife, Lori McComas, accused him of physical assault, claiming he punched and strangled her. He pled guilty to disturbing the peace but denied the more serious charges. His legal issues didn't stop there. In 2013, his second wife, Michelle Gent, filed for a restraining order, accusing him of punching her in the face during an argument in Costa Rica. She described Howard as controlling, violent, and unpredictable, adding to his list of controversies. Howard has been sued multiple times for unpaid debts and engaged in intense legal battles over his divorce agreements. In a bizarre 2019 interview, he even claimed to have discovered the true form of gravity and wanted to change the laws of physics. Despite these scandals, Hollywood gave him a second chance. He remains an active actor, though his reputation has taken a severe hit. Did you know Terrence Howard was originally cast in Iron Man 2 but was replaced by Don Cheadle due to salary disputes and on-set difficulties? Howard's story is a reminder of how talent alone doesn't always protect one from the consequences of personal actions, and that even in Hollywood, a controversial past can be hard to overcome. Cuba Gooding Jr. From an Oscar-winning actor to a man facing multiple sexual assault allegations, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s fall from grace is unmatched. Gooding Jr. became a Hollywood superstar after his memorable performance in Jerry Maguire in 1996, winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. His iconic line, "Show me the money," became legendary. But in recent years, his name has been associated with something much darker. Since 2019, more than 30 women have accused Gooding Jr. of unwanted sexual behavior and assault. The allegations range from groping women in nightclubs to more serious claims of sexual misconduct. In 2020, he was charged with groping and sexual abuse, with multiple women testifying that he had touched, kissed, or groped them without consent. His legal team tried to have the case dismissed, but the accusations kept coming. In 2022, he pled guilty to one count of groping, admitting to kissing a waitress against her will at a nightclub in New York. Though he avoided jail time, his career took a freefall. Once a beloved star, he is now shunned in Hollywood, and it's hard for him to reclaim his former reputation. Did you know that Cuba Gooding Jr. once turned down a major role in Amistad because he didn't want to be typecast in historical films? Many believe this was a career-changing mistake. Gooding Jr.'s story is a tragic reminder that even the brightest stars can fall from grace when personal actions overshadow their professional achievements. Nate Parker. Nate Parker was once on the cusp of greatness in Hollywood, but his dark past came back to haunt him, leading to a rapid rise and fall. In 2016, Parker was considered the next big thing. His film The Birth of a Nation, which tells the story of Nat Turner's rebellion, received a standing ovation at Sundance and a record distribution deal worth $17.5 million. Many saw him as the next Spike Lee or Jordan Peele. But before the film could hit theaters, his past resurfaced and destroyed everything. Parker was accused of sexual assault in 1999 while he was a student at Penn State. The victim, another student, alleged that Parker and his roommate, who co-wrote The Birth of a Nation, assaulted her while she was intoxicated and unable to consent. Parker was acquitted, claiming the encounter was consensual. However, the controversy took a tragic turn when the accuser committed suicide in 2012. When this information became public again, the backlash was swift and brutal. Instead of addressing the issue with remorse, Parker appeared defensive and indifferent in interviews. Audiences boycotted the film, and his promising career crumbled before it could take off. Before The Birth of a Nation, Parker had been offered major roles in big franchises but turned them down to focus on directing. Now, those opportunities are forever out of reach. His story is a cautionary tale of how one's past mistakes, if not handled properly, can destroy a career that seemed destined for greatness. Melvin Van Peebles. Melvin Van Peebles forever changed black cinema, but his films were so controversial they led to serious legal issues. Van Peebles was a fearless filmmaker who never followed Hollywood's rules. He was a legend in independent filmmaking, with his 1971 film Sweet Sweetback's Battis's Song being a cultural revolution that paved the way for the entire blaxploitation genre. But his films did more than change Hollywood, they pushed the boundaries of decency and the law. At a time when black filmmakers had little control over their creative work, Van Peebles self-financed his films outside of the studio system. His works were raw, violent, and featured shocking sexual content that stunned audiences. Sweet Sweetback's Battis's Song was so explicit that it was initially rated X by the MPAA, a rating typically reserved for adult films. His audacity led to significant legal troubles. In the early 1970s, he faced charges of obscenity in multiple cities as authorities tried to ban his film. Van Peebles fought back, turning these battles over censorship into a movement for black filmmakers' rights. Despite the controversy, his films opened doors for future black directors and forever changed Hollywood. Did you know that Van Peebles was also a novelist, playwright, composer, and stock trader? He was a true Renaissance man, mastering many fields before passing away in 2021. His legacy as a bold creator who challenged norms and fought for creative freedom will continue to inspire generations of filmmakers. Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames is the tough guy in Hollywood, but his real-life controversies paint a different picture. While his on-screen career has been filled with action-packed roles, Rhames' personal life has been marred by incidents that raised eyebrows. Best known for his role as Luther Stickle in the Mission Impossible series, where he plays Ethan Hunt's trustworthy ally, Rhames' deep voice and commanding presence made him one of Hollywood's most recognizable supporting actors. However, despite playing heroes on screen, his off-screen behavior has often led to controversy. In 1993, Rhames was arrested for assault after a road rage incident. Reports indicated that he beat the victim severely enough to require medical attention. Though Rhames later settled the matter out of court, it was the first sign of his aggressive temperament. In another bizarre incident, Rhames made headlines when his neighbors called the police, mistakenly thinking he was a burglar in his own home. The situation almost escalated into something deadly when police reportedly drew their guns on him. Rhames later spoke out about racial profiling, but some critics argue that his past controversies have made him a complex figure. Despite these incidents, his career remained largely intact, mostly due to his long-standing role in Mission Impossible. However, his Hollywood legacy is not without its blemishes. One of the most humbling moments came when Rhames gave his Golden Globe Award to Jack Lemmon on stage, saying that Lemmon deserved it more, a rare moment of humility in Hollywood. Rhames' career proves that even the toughest on-screen personas can have a complicated real-life story, yet he remains a respected figure in the industry. Isaiah Washington. Isaiah Washington was once a rising star on one of television's biggest shows, but a careless comment destroyed his career. Washington learned the hard way that Hollywood is not quick to forgive. He was at the peak of his career playing Dr. Preston Burke on Grey's Anatomy, a role that made him a household name. But in 2006, a heated argument on set with co-star Patrick Dempsey changed everything. During the altercation, Washington allegedly used homophobic slurs to insult co-star T.R. Knight, who later publicly came out as gay. The scandal rocked Hollywood, and the media extensively covered the fallout for months. Despite issuing multiple apologies, Washington's reputation never recovered. He was fired from Grey's Anatomy in 2007, and although he made a guest appearance in 2014, he never regained his leading man status. Washington later claimed he was blacklisted in Hollywood, blaming a secret industry conspiracy against him. In 2023, he announced his retirement from acting, citing his disillusionment with the way he was treated. His once promising career was forever ruined by a single thoughtless moment. Did you know that Isaiah Washington was originally cast as Dr. Derek Shepard, McDreamy, on Grey's Anatomy? The role eventually went to Patrick Dempsey, his co-star, with whom he later had the infamous argument. Jussie Smollett. What happens when a Hollywood star tries to fake a hate crime? The bizarre scandal surrounding Jussie Smollett turned him from an up-and-coming actor into a global laughingstock. Smollett became famous for his role as Jamal Lyon in Empire, a hit TV show that made him a star. But in January 2019, he hit the headlines for very different reasons. Smollett claimed he was the victim of a racially and homophobically motivated attack. He told the police that two masked men attacked him in Chicago, poured bleach on him, and tied a noose around his neck while yelling racist slurs and chanting pro-Trump slogans. The story attracted massive media attention, sparking outrage across Hollywood and beyond. But just a few weeks later, the truth came out: it was all a hoax. Investigators found that Smollett had orchestrated the attack himself, paying two brothers, Abel and Ola Osendero, to stage the entire incident. It was believed he wanted to further his career and gain sympathy. Smollett was arrested and later convicted on multiple charges, including disorderly conduct for filing a false police report. In 2022, he was sentenced to 150 days in jail, a humiliating downfall for an actor with a promising future. Today, he remains one of the most disgraced figures in Hollywood. Smollett still insists he is innocent, despite overwhelming evidence against him. Even after his conviction, he maintained that he was set up, claiming the truth would eventually come out. R. Kelly. He reigned as an R&B titan, a musical genius whose voice and artistry captivated the world, until a monstrous truth unraveled his empire. R. Kelly's legacy, once glittering with over 100 million records sold and timeless anthems like I Believe I Can Fly and Ignition Remix, now lies in the shadow of one of the most vile scandals to ever scar the entertainment realm. His talent was undeniable, a maestro who blended soulful melodies with raw charisma, earning him a throne among the genre's elite. Yet beneath the spotlight, a sinister underbelly festered, hidden by fame and fortune that shielded him from justice for far too long. Whispers of his depravity lingered for years, but it wasn't until 2002 that the mask began to crack. A chilling video surfaced, allegedly capturing Kelly in a predatory act with an underage girl, thrusting him into a legal storm with charges of child pornography. Astonishingly, after 6 years of delays, he walked free in 2008, the case crumbling as the victim refused to testify. His career endured, a twisted testament to his ability to dodge accountability, until the reckoning arrived. In 2019, the explosive docuseries surviving Arthur Kelly unleashed a torrent of horror stories, allegations of abduction, coercion, and a secret sex cult that shattered his facade. The public's outrage erupted, igniting a firestorm that finally forced authorities to strike. In 2021, the gavel fell hard. Convicted of sex trafficking and racketeering, Kelly was sentenced to 30 years behind bars. His fall from grace was seismic, a once revered icon now caged for atrocities that span decades. Even more jaw-dropping, reports emerged of Kelly plotting to resurrect his music from prison, attempting to drop an album from his cell. The audacity was short-lived. Streaming platforms swiftly yanked it down. From chart-topping king to a pariah in shackles, Arthur Kelly's tale is a haunting saga of genius devoured by evil, forever etched in Hollywood's darkest annals. As we've seen today, these 20 actors have left an unforgettable mark on Hollywood, not just for their talent but for their shocking actions that forever changed their careers. Whether it was scandal, criminal activity, or controversial choices, each of these figures has a complex legacy. But we want to hear from you. Who do you think should have made this list? Are there any actors you feel deserve more attention for their actions? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and show your support by subscribing to our channel, Legends of Black Excellence. By subscribing, you'll be the first to catch more videos exploring the fascinating and often untold stories of Black excellence and controversy in Hollywood. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.